Good morning, Stampers. I'm Meg from LovenStamps, and we are here for another Maker Morning with Meg. I shared a card yesterday. I'll show it to you. I added some envelope decorations to it afterwards because I had so much fun with the stamps I couldn't stop playing. But this is the card that we made yesterday. So pretty cool use of like the negative space in the front. So hey guys, Kathy, Cheryl, Tanya, Trish, you guys are on top of it this morning. Anyway, we created this card yesterday with a hole in the front and the negative space and so forth there. And then I added some envelopes from stamping from the stamp set. So we're talking about lots of heart here. And I was excited to go ahead and make something with one of the dies yesterday. So you might remember yesterday, let's see, can I still hold these up? I talked about how much there is in this die set, how many billions of pieces. That's an overstatement, there aren't a billion. But there are all these cool heart motifs, the things I used yesterday, and then there are also this little bird and these little, very, to me at least, looking Scandinavian leaves and some flowers and so forth. So when I was getting ready for today's video, I thought, oh my gosh, I just have to use that Scandinavian feel of things. So I changed my clothes and put on my Scandinavian looking sweater so that I could get ready for today. So a whole different feel from yesterday's card. Yesterday was layering. We layered up, we layered down, we added foil, we added bling, we added frills, all kinds of stuff. Today is a very minimalist folk art kind of design, Scandinavian folk art. So I started off by Googling Scandinavian folk art bird motif, which you can totally do, and you'll come up with some really great responses. And the things, I kind of looked at them and figured out what is common to all those different motifs. And so here's what I found. I found simple colors, usually like 3. I found a clean look, not like overlapping things like I'm all about overlapping collage layers. So very clean design where everything is lined up. Lots of them, especially the most traditional ones, have a line of symmetry. So there's a line in the center and then everything to the left and right of that symmetry line is exactly the same. So these are some kind of cool design elements that we could put to work. So I started, you know what comes to mind, IKEA, right? So I pulled out my In Good Taste Designer Series paper, which has all these fantastic designs on the front and the back that are great neutral kinds of palettes. Lots of wood and carpet and fiber textures. And so we're gonna use the birch from this. So I have one of these light birch pieces because, I mean, doesn't that kind of like scream IKEA to you? Light maple, whatever it is. And then I thought, okay, well, what do we want for colors? I know, Kathy, it's silly, right? But what do we want for colors? So I decided I wanted a red because we wanted to use this heart motif, but I didn't want to use real red because it's just a little bit muted. So I decided to go with Poppy Parade, which is a lighter one. And let's see, I'll pull the pads up here. So Poppy Parade, and then I added to it Pacific Point because that just sort of screams Swedish Scandinavian to me. And then we needed a green to go with these. So I couldn't decide which green to use at first. So I pulled out the Granny Apple Green, which would be great actually for a very modern looking kind of Scandinavian design, but I wanted to go a little more traditional. So I pulled out Shaded Spruce, and that seemed a little too close to the Pacific Point to me, too much blue in this green. So then I pulled out Garden Green. Oh, yay. Okay, Garden Green was the one I went with. So for our Scandinavian folk arty design, we have Garden Green, Pacific Point, and Real Red. And we're gonna start with a piece of that birch paper from In Good Taste. So let me flip you guys down here. There you got the full view of my Scandinavian-ish sweater. So, all right, so I have my papers here. So I'm gonna start off with the piece of Poppy Parade cardstock. This is gonna be our card base. And then I have a piece of this birch paper. And to start us off, I decided we'd kind of go with a negative space again. The die that I used for this is the polka dot or the dotted heart die. And so all I did was put that right in the center of my paper and run it through. And voila, there we have our card base. So kind of screams Scandinavian already, right? And then we have that nice little tiny dab of red that shows through the middle of our card. All right, so now what dies to use next? I grabbed the bird die, clearly, with a separate wing. And I love that they're both on the same dies. I said this yesterday, but it makes it really easy for stampers to look at that and go, oh, wait, oh, that's supposed to go with the bird, as opposed to having the plain bird. So you could make your bird plain too, but this one's kind of nice. And then I added the motif leaf die, and then I wanted some flowers. Now, in most of the traditional Scandinavian kinds of art that I found, the flowers were very symmetrical in the final design, and this die itself isn't super symmetrical, but the nice thing is that it just punches all these flowers at once, and so I could mix and match those. So I decided to do my birds in Poppy Parade, my leaves in Garden Green, and my flowers in blue. And ta-da, through the magic of television. Oops, oh, they're sticking to the bottom of my stamp case. That's not very magical here. I can't, there we go. Okay, I was gonna say I cut out exactly how many leaves I needed. So, all right, and then we're gonna need this white for the center of our card. So, all right, if you're just jumping in, we decided to go from the very busy, layered, collage-y, fun, beautiful card that we did yesterday with the lots of heart stamp set and convert that to a Scandinavian design sort of minimalist look. So, all right, so first thing to do, I'm gonna take this out of the way because if I go ahead and mount this on here, then it's just always gonna be moving. So I'm gonna just set our card base aside for a moment and work on our paper here. So we have our birds, and let's see, so we said there's a line of symmetry in the middle, which means left and right we need to have the same pieces. And so then our wings are gonna go on these. So let me grab, I'm gonna use a mini dimensional and pop one of these little wings on each of our birds. Oops. And there we go. So whatever angle I got that wing on at, this one's gonna be the same. And I love that it's so easy to flap these birds to the other side. So, all right, so you know what, we're gonna start gluing. If you were laying this card out the first time, probably you would want to hold off on the gluing until you knew for sure how your design was gonna come together. But since I kind of have figured most of this out ahead of time, we're gonna go ahead and live dangerously and stick our birds down. Morning, guys. Okay, so then symmetry. There is a motif of these repeated leaf elements often. Okay, so I'm gonna add those. And then I'll add them at the bottom too, because we're repeating our design elements. Okay. And then we have all these blue flowers to incorporate. So around the central heart, let's see, maybe we'll put two big flowers kind of down here. And I'm gonna angle them so that one flower petal points towards the heart. And then that leaves a spot here for this repeated element to continue. So just another little repetition of that same shape. Okay, so again, left and right, we're doing the same thing. And then I think that should get finished off with a leaf. So we'll put one there and one here, okay? And then, let's see, adding to that, I think I'm gonna curve these up a little bit because I wanna leave a tiny little space for our greeting at the bottom. So I'm gonna just curve these a little bit. And if you Google those Scandinavian folk art designs, you'll find that there's a lot of like curving of line and so forth for each of the elements that you add. Okay, but I think we still have room for another flower out here. So let's go ahead and pop a flower here. And I'm trying to make sure that I keep the flowers kind of turned the same direction so that they're kind of true to our design. And let's see. Sorry it's so cold there, Petra. It's kind of not very nice here too. It's gonna rain a lot today on us, I think, but not so cold. So my heart goes out to you. See, our Scandinavian design is just perfect for you, right? Cold weather. We've actually been talking a lot at our house lately. My daughter has to do a genealogy project for her high school history class. And so we've been pulling out all the genealogy and all of our ancestors and so forth, and it's been real fun to kind of look at those things. Okay, so we have our design element kind of set here. So when I'm designing, I really like to kind of pick up one piece at a time once I get everything set, and then just fit them back into the design. And hands down, my favorite glue for this is multi-purpose liquid adhesive, which I use all the time. Sometimes I call it green lid glue. And the thing to remember on this is if you can see the glue, it is enough. You don't have to have a giant gob of it on there to make your elements stick. The other thing that I love about this, especially for this project, is that it doesn't grab super instantly. Once it's set up, it's really stuck on there nicely, but for the second or couple seconds that you set it down, you can still turn it just a little bit. So if I realize that my leaf was just a little bit crooked or something like that, I can still swap that out. So, all right. So anyway, you get the idea. You guys don't need to see me glue this whole thing. Then I decided that what I would do is add an element, embellishment element, and also a greeting. So from our stamp set, there are some great all-purpose kinds of greeting. Definitely not just a Valentine-y set, good for lots of different things. So I'm gonna use just a little note, and I'm gonna bring in my Pacific Point stamp here, my Pacific Point ink, and pop this. Woo! I forgot that I haven't glued everything down. I'm just tossing elements. And now this is totally living dangerously. I don't always recommend this, but I had a plan if it messes up, or I have a plan if it messes up. So I'm just gonna stamp just a little note on there. It worked. Now, if I had gotten all the way to the end of my project and realized that it was not, like I messed up the little note part, then what I would do is just put a little white strip of cardstock on there with my greeting, and it would cover it up and no one would know, okay? Now, I felt like this needed, it's kind of moved a little bit here since I got it set. I felt like it needed one more thing. And so that one more thing, I looked through my embellishments, and I looked at rhinestones, I looked at the wooden elements, I looked at all things, and I felt like this design doesn't go with rhinestones. It's a very simplistic folk arty kind of thing, and rhinestones just aren't simplistic folk art. So instead, I pulled out my 2020 to 2022 in color enamel dots, and even though Just Jade is not quite exactly the same as my garden green, it matches nicely, and so I'm going to pop a couple of these babies on here to just further our design and give it just a little bit of extra texture, okay? So there we have those. And then this gets mounted on our real red cardstock base. And here's the one that's actually glued. That gives us our final design. So now for our Scandinavian folk art card, we need something in the middle. So I'm gonna take my piece of Whisper White here that's cut to go in the center of this card, and there is again, this stamp set is really terrific with both of these things, both you know, busy layered heart collage kinds of designs and this nice simplistic Scandinavian flair. So I have this little flower image here, and I'm going to go ahead and ink that up and just stamp it once. Now, oops, see, this is why I stamp before. There you can see I didn't get it very even. I was trying not to get my fingers in the ink, which well, you know. Okay, I don't glue things down before I stamp, because then I can always flip them over. The Stampin' Up! Cardstock is great about that. So, all right, so there's our design, goes in the center of our card, and there we have it. Now, I thought, seriously, I wanted to put this, I wanted to put the design on here again and do all four corners, but you know what? When you're talking about simple, sometimes you have to hold yourself back. And when you look at it and you think, oh yeah, I think I'm pretty much done. Oh wait, no, I'll add one more thing. Stop. Don't add the one more thing. Quit while you're ahead. So, all right, but I do like to stamp something on the back, so I'm gonna go ahead and add those flowers there on the back, which feel very Scandinavian to me too, that sort of simple sketch design. And that gives us our finished card, so. All right, so I hope that you guys enjoyed that card today. So again, two really different ideas with the same stamp set. Here's the one we did yesterday. Very, you know, complex layered design with lots of different pieces to it. And then today's design, a very simple Scandinavian kind of folk art design. So, all right, so if you are a Scandinavian folk artist and I have totally butchered your design elements, then I apologize for that. But I think we did a pretty decent job. So, I'm glad you guys like it. Morning, Julie. Trish, I'm glad you like it. Thanks, Elaine and Cheryl and Lana, Petra. Yeah, it's kind of nice sometimes to do something that's a little bit different. So take design ideas from things like your clothing. Take design ideas from textiles or things around your house. We have lots of Scandinavian folk art. Oh, I should have brought my Dala horses in here. Maybe I'll show them another day, but take design ideas from things that are available to you all around so that you can sort of, you know, expand and maybe make a design that's a little different. So, all right, guys, hope you have a really excellent Thursday and are looking forward to Friday because I'll be back tomorrow for another Maker Mornings with Meg and look forward to sharing some new crafting ideas. I think tomorrow we'll be back to a chicken card. Tomorrow you can look forward to the Hey Birthday Chick. Let's see, I'll show it to you now. So, just as a reminder. So tomorrow's card is going to be our Hey Birthday Chick slider card, peekaboo card. Wait, I can't open it here backwards. There we go. All right, like that. See how that works? So we'll do this tomorrow. I showed this to my high school age daughter, and she was like, and she just kept opening it and closing it because she thought it was so much fun. So, yep, lots of different design ideas, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this departure from our norm. So, have a wonderful Thursday, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Happy stamping.